Welcome. The Utah MLS market statistics are in. We're going to go over those and let you know where we are headed as far as the real estate market here in Utah. I'm Laura Rosquist with UtahHomesLaura.com. Let's just hop right on into it. Okay, here we are. The MLS marking stats, we have 46 days on market. It's the median days on market. We're up 3 from last month. Normally this would be in, around 30s, 20s. We've gradually inched up over the beginning of the year. And so now we're at 46 days on market. Number of homes sold is down. We're almost down by 1%. Median home price, we're sitting at about 233. We were 227, and we've kind of worked our way up to 233. Home prices are still going up here in Utah. You will see some price reductions on some homes, but overall as a whole, the median price continues to go up, albeit much slower than it did in the previous few years. Okay, median sold price, we're at $574. Last July, we were at $580. This is typical where it will dip down in the fall and winter time just because the demand. A lot of people who have families don't want to move during the winter time. Who wants to move at Christmas? People don't. So by the way, if you're looking for a good deal, November, December, and January are the best times to buy a home to get a great deal because people are motivated if they're selling their house in the middle of winter time. Let's talk townhomes, condos. We're at 410,000. The townhome condo market's pretty soft, especially the condo market. Townhomes are doing better. Most of the townhomes are being bought by first-time home buyers. Now let's move on and see what the active trends are. Excuse me. Now the active trends you see here, 13,656 homes for sale. We have 21% more homes on the market than we did this time last year. And if you look at the height of COVID, we have 9.6 thousand more homes than we did back in COVID. And we had a lot of multiple offers. Now the median home price here is $574, like I just mentioned that a few minutes ago. It was $580 back in July. Normally dips down in the winter time. It's pretty common. And then here we are, the townhome condo market sitting here at 410. Well, as far as the market statistic goes, that's a wrap. I am going to cover a few of the questions I'm getting from people who do have their homes listed by other agents or are considering relisting their home and want to know why their home hasn't sold. Okay. So let's run through why your home hasn't sold if it's currently on the market, or if you're getting ready to list your home, what are some things you really need to keep an eye on to make sure your home does get sold? The number one thing is to make sure your home is marketed correctly. Now, when I say marketed correctly, I'm talking about massive exposure. Now, depending on what price point you're in, if you're in the luxury market, those homes have to be marketed differently. Like, for example, we have a $72.5 million listing up in Morgan. That home has to be, in the Wall Street Journal. It's got to be in the New York Post. It's got to be everywhere, as well as magazines and other marketing avenues. But if you're in, say, the $500,000, $7, $8, $9, $1.5 million range, then basically your exposure is going to be a lot of social media. We subscribe to a hub that when we list it on the MLS, the property goes out to about 1,000 other websites that people search on. There's a lot of kind of behind backlinks and other things that are involved. We do have a massive following on social media, and it's not so much the followers you have to look for, it's the how many people are looking at your content. Like just last 28 days, I had 2.6 million people look at my YouTube channel and view those properties. Now, not everyone's going to subscribe. They may see something on Instagram and they'll share that with their friend or their coworker, but not necessarily subscribe. But they are watching your content. In fact, I go in the grocery store and people who don't follow me say, hey, I see your stuff all the time, or you look familiar. Do I know you from somewhere? And I know it's from all my social media. Anyway, let's talk about, now we're talking about marketing. We're going to talk about price, condition, and location. You can't change the location of your property. You know, so if you're backed up against the railroad tracks or a busy road, or maybe you're in a neighborhood that is run down, not that great, don't have really good neighbors, as far as, you know, they have their junky cars out on the lawn, and, you know, things that, you know, you could take a dump truck and haul it all off to the dump. Or if there's a neighborhood that has a lot of sex offenders in it, and it's a family community, you know, it'd be harder to sell your home for full value. Now, let's talk about pricing. Pricing is critical, and people don't understand that when they interview different realtors know that, you know, sellers want the highest price for their home. Of course, we all do. They want to sell it in the least amount of time with the least amount of hassles. And so you will have realtors come in and they will bring what we call a CMA, and that is a comparable market analysis. You have to be super careful with these because these can be easily manipulated. What you want to look for is all of the actives that are comparable to your home, all of the under contracts, and all of the homes that have recently sold. And if you're still not sure what range to price your home, then you need to go toward your competition, because realtors will come to listing and they will have a CMA and say, this is where you need to list it at. Well, they want you to go with them, especially if you're interviewing other agents, because they want to come in at the highest. But this is to your disadvantage. And the reason why is the best time you have to sell your home is in the first 6 weeks. That's when the neighbors find out you're selling it for. And what's the question they all ask? How much are you asking? And now they go tell their, you know, the other neighbors, they tell their friends, they tell their coworkers, they tell everyone. Well, okay, so now you're overpriced, but you don't know it. No showings, very little showings, hardly any activity on it. So 2 weeks later, your agent comes to you and says, you know what, we need a price reduction. We need to make this price change, and let's get some more showings on this house. Well, they would have priced it right. You would have had the showings out the gate. So my rule of thumb in the market that we have today, if you do not have 5 showings in the first 10 days, then you are overpriced. That is in the slow market, a market where we have, you know, it's the worst market in 30 years. Normally, you know, in the double, you know, when the homes were going up in double digits here in Utah, and we had a lot of multiple offers, you know, if your home sat on the market for more than just a few days, you knew you were way overpriced. But so I would be really careful how you price your home going out of the gate. And you need to determine the price. Your realtor is to consult with you, not tell you what to do. They should be your key advisor and provide you with all the information. And another thing to note is if you're in the price range that's declining, or a market that's declining elsewhere in the United States, you need to be really mindful of what you price your home at. Because if you start out at the top and the prices continue to go down and your realtor's not on top of it, they're not meeting with you every 2 weeks and going over what the latest market statistics are, then you're going to be going down at the top of the market. And I mean, you know, going down as the market drops down. So by the time you eventually sell, you would have sold for less than if you would have just priced it right going out of the gate. So that's something you need to keep in mind. Anyway, if you have any questions, go ahead and reach out to me. I'm going to include some links in the description to some of my guides, and maybe some other videos. I do have a seller's course, buyer's course. I'm writing a book. I have a lot of free information out there that I put together to help folks just like you. Thank you for staying tuned and listening to this, and I hope you subscribe and watch some more of my videos. Thank you.